class where they tell me I came from the monkeys. But I know a girl who goes to school, and it's like no other. Her classroom, it's in her house, and her teacher is her mother. Some say she is a mystery, but she sure knows her history. Homeschool girl, let me in your world. Some girls I know, they dress real wild for popularity and fame. But homeschool girl sees through all that. She doesn't have to play that game. And all that time at the kitchen table, but still she knows what's up. I like coffee and I like tea, and man, she can make a mean cup. We're about the same age, but don't be misled, because she's already 3 grades in. Homeschool girl, let me in your world. Homeschool girl, let me in your world. Yeah, you know, it's like the public school system. But let me tell you, homeschool girls get the best of both worlds, because her mom and her dad are teaching her the basics of life in a good way. She's like 15 times smarter than me. I don't get it. And I'm just praying that my grades don't slip. But homeschool girl, she's talking full scholarship. Homeschool girl, let me in your world. Homeschool girl, she's my homeschool girl. Homeschool girl, let me in your
Is a book called The School Mouse, and I read it today with my mom. And it is called The School Mouse, and the main character is in it is called it's a mouse that is called Flora, and she basically saves her mom and dad's lives because there's a certain poison that kills mice and called musmores, and she got there just in time to tell them not to eat it. So they waited a day to see if she was right. And how she saved their mom's lives is that she learned to read. And she read the package, and then she ran and told her mom and dad. And then they waited a day, and then all the mice were gone and dead because they ate all the musmores, except for 2 packages. One in the kindergarten classroom, and one in the teacher's break place, I think. And they had made a nest underneath the floorboards. And that's mostly stuff about this book. And now I'm going to read you Arthur's Loose Tooth. And the person who wrote it was Lily Harbin.
Hoban. Lillian Hoban.
Yep. And the picture of this is that picture. And part of this is that he pulls it out with a string. His loose tooth, of course. Arthur's loose tooth. It was Saturday evening. Mother and father were at a party. The babysitter was fixing supper. Violet was playing with her doctor kit. She put a bandage on her doll's head. I am going to be a doctor when I grow up, she said. What are you going to be, Arthur? Arthur is that boy, and this is Violet, and this is the babysitter. Vroom, vroom, yelled Arthur. He held up his arms. And made muscles. I am going to be Captain Fearless, the bravest chimp in the world. I have the power, he shouted. Stop all that noise, said the babysitter. You are giving me a headache. My doll has a headache too, said Violet. I think I will put him to bed. Violet took her doll and her doctor kit. She started up the stairs. Then she came back. Arthur, she said, will you come with me? It is dark upstairs, and I am scared. Oh, goodness. Only babies are scared of the dark, said Arthur. Captain Fearless isn't scared of anything. Watch him use the power. Arthur went zooming around the room. He bumped into the tables and chairs. He knocked over Mother's sewing basket and a pile of newspapers. He knocked over Father's pipe stand, and a bowl of fruit. Then he tripped and fell. Arthur cut his lip. Violet called the babysitter. He's bleeding. Arthur sat up. He put his finger to his lip. There was blood all over his finger. I'm dying, he cried. Quick, get me a Band-Aid. I have a Band-Aid in my doctor kit, said Violet. And here are some cotton balls, too. Hurry, yelled Arthur. My goodness, said the babysitter. You should not be scared of a little blood. She wiped Arthur's lip with a clean towel. There, she said. The blood is all gone. It's just a little cut. You don't even need a Band-Aid. I'm not scared of blood, said Violet. When I'm a doctor, I'm going to cut people open and fix their insides. There will be lots of blood. I was not really scared, said Arthur. I just thought I had swallowed my loose front tooth. Captain Fearless isn't scared of anything. He has the power. Said the babysitter. He should use the power to clean up the mess he made. Then we will have supper. What's for supper? Asked Violet. Soup and sandwiches, said the babysitter. And a special treat for dessert. Only babies need special treats, said Arthur. Well, it is a good thing you're not a baby, said the babysitter, because this special treat is bad for loose front teeth. I bet I know what it is, said Violet. What is it? Asked Arthur. You'll see, said the babysitter. Now, clean up this mess. Arthur started to clean up. he picked up his father's pipe stand, a pile of newspapers. He picked up the bowl and the fruit. He picked up Mother's sewing basket and pins and needles and thread. Some of the thread got tangled. And Violet, said Violet, Mother's favorite pinky purple one is all in knots. Mother is not going to like that. Arthur tried to take the knots out of the thread. The more he tried, the more it tangled. I can't get the knots out, said Violet. I can get the knots out, said Violet. But first you have to come upstairs with me. I want to put my doll to bed. It is really dark up there now. Scaredy cat, said Arthur. Scaredy cat, scaredy cat. That was, I bet Arthur was singing Scaredy Cat at Violet. Maybe I am scared of the dark, said Violet. But I am not scared of a little blood. I am not scared either, yelled Arthur. Violet called the babysitter. Violet called the babysitter. Come help me make dessert. All right, said Violet. She went into the kitchen. Arthur pulled at a knot in the thread. The thread broke off. It's the pinky purple one, of course. The thread broke off. He pulled another knot. More thread broke off. After a while, there was broken thread all over Arthur. There was hardly any thread on the spool. Maybe I should let Violet do it, said Arthur. He took the spool of thread into the kitchen. Violet was dipping apples into a big pot. Guess what we are having for dessert, said Violet. It's your favorite treat. It is toffee apples. Toffee apples, said Arthur. I can't eat toffee apples with a loose tooth. It might get stuck in the toffee.
It's actually, you're supposed to say that one taffy. Like, like saltwater taffy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all.
Taffy.
Yeah, taffy.
Toffee.
Toffee, taffy. You say tomatoes, I say tomatoes. You say toffee, I say taffy.
Well, if it gets stuck, you can pull it out, said Violet. I don't want to pull it out, said Arthur. What are you looking at anyway? I'm looking at the thread, Arthur, said Violet. There is hardly any left in the spool. Mother is not going to like that one bit. I know, said Arthur. Nothing is any good for me. I couldn't get the nuts out. I can't eat the toffee apples. All my luck has gone away. If your tooth came out, you could eat the toffee apples, said the babysitter. Then the tooth fairy would leave 50 cents under your pillow. You could buy some more thread. Arthur wiggled his tooth. It's not ready to come out, he said. Let me see, said Violet. Arthur wiggled his tooth some more. It looks ready, said Violet. It's very loose, said the babysitter. It's just about hanging in there. I had a loose tooth.
Let me see. Show me where your loose tooth was.
2.
Let me see. Smile. Ooh, there's a big gap in there. Did you feel like Arthur? Like you were scared to pull out your tooth?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why is Arthur scared to pull his tooth out?
The second one that came out, I did not pull out.
No?
I was eating pizza, and when I was almost done eating pizza, guess what? The tooth, I could turn all the way around 5 times. I guess.
You could spin it right around?
Yeah. And then, like a minute later, it fell out.
Why is Arthur afraid to lose his tooth?
I don't know.
What do you think? Something red might come out with it, remember?
Blood.
Yeah, probably he's afraid.
The second tooth had a little blood on it too.
Did it?
Yeah. But the first one, it didn't have any blood. In 2 weeks, on the first day of 3 weeks, it came out. Only 2 weeks it took to make the tooth fall out. Let's get back to our story.
Okay.
But if it comes out, there will be lots of blood, said Arthur. I thought you said you were not scared, said Violet. I'm not, yelled Arthur. It's just, I just don't like the way it looks. And now, said Violet, I don't like the way...
Oh, I think she said...
I know, said Violet. I don't like the way the dark looks. It looks like creepy crawlies waiting to get me. But if I go into the dark, even if it scares me, that means I'm really brave.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Only at nighttime when I'm sleeping by myself in my bed. I mostly sleep in my parents' bed. Then I can fall asleep even though it's dark. Maybe that's a scary monster.
Oh, you can hear Dad underneath the house?
Oh, yeah.
Why is Dad under the house this time? To fix the water pipes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Or maybe draining
the water pipes?
Yeah.
Back to Arthur.
Who told you that? Asked Arthur. I did, said the babysitter. Anybody can do things they are not afraid of, but only brave people do things that they are scared to do. Well, said Arthur, I don't believe you. I think you are mean. You made toffee apples and you know I cannot eat them. It's no fair. She is not mean, said Violet. She said if I am very brave, I can make s'mores for you. You can eat s'mores even with a loose front tooth. What are s'mores? Asked Arthur. You'll see, said Violet. But first I have to get some sticks so I can make them. I'm going out in the dark all by myself. I'm scared, but I will do it anyway. Violet put her coat put on her coat. Watch me be brave, she said. Then she opened the door and went out into the dark.
What is she going out in the dark for?
Sticks
Oh.
to make this more.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Arthur said the babysitter, you can be brave too. You can go upstairs and get washed. What, said Arthur? I am not scared to go upstairs in the dark. I know, said the babysitter. But sometimes I think you are scared of a little soap and water.
She made a joke.
Arthur went upstairs. He put the spool of thread on the sink. He turned on the water.
Yeah, you're right.
Water.
Mm-hmm.
Then he looked in the mirror. He wiggled his tooth. It was very loose. It was very loose. Very, very loose. I wonder what s'mores are, he says. I bet they are not as good as toffee apples. Arthur washed his face and hands.
You've had s'mores before.
Oh, yeah. S'mores are just graham crackers, chocolate, and a marshmallow, a toasted one. Then he sat down on the edge of the bathtub, and looked at the spool of thread. I wish the tooth fairy would come, he said. I sure could use toffee candies.
No, that's not what that says. Read that last sentence.
I sure could use 50 cents.
Yeah. You just made up your own.
The kitchen door slammed. Arthur, Violet called. I have the sticks to make the s'mores. And now I am brave. The creepy crawlies didn't even try to get me. Arthur thought about being brave. He thought about the tooth fairy and the toffee cup and the 50 cents under his pillow. He wiggled his tooth with his fingers. He wiggled it with his tongue. Then he sighed and pulled a long piece of pinky purple thread from the spool. He wrapped one end around the doorknob. He tied the other around his loose tooth. He closed his eyes and waited. Arthur called the babysitter. Come down for supper. Arthur did not answer. Arthur, called the babysitter. Come down right now. Arthur called. Arthur sat.
Right that way, right?
Arthur still did not answer. The babysitter came upstairs. She knocked at the bathroom door. Arthur, come out of there, she said. Arthur kept his eyes tight shut. He did not say a word. I'm coming in, said the babysitter. She turned the knob on the bathroom door. The thread around the knob jerked. It jerked so hard that I do not know that word.
Oh, you're right here. It jerked so hard,
It yanked Arthur's tooth right out his mouth, of his mouth. It's out! It's out! Shouted Arthur. He held his tooth in his hand and put his tongue in the empty space. See, he said to the babysitter, I told you I am not afraid of blood. Well then, Captain Fearless,
Learn how to do some stuff.
said the babysitter. You can open your eyes and look now that you are ready, that you really are brave. Arthur opened his eyes. There was a little blood on his hand and a little on his tooth. It did not scare him one bit. Arthur and the babysitter went downstairs for supper. I pulled my tooth out, Arthur said to Violet. I was very brave. Yes, he was, said the babysitter. Now he can have s'mores and toffee apples for dessert. After supper, the babysitter built a fire. Violet showed Arthur how to make s'mores. First you toast the marshmallow, said Violet. Next you put some chocolate on a graham cracker, and you put the marshmallow on the chocolate and another graham cracker on top. It tastes so good you want some more. That's why they are called s'mores. It sounds sort of like s'mores. S'mores. So Violet, the babysitter, and Arthur toasted marshmallows and made s'mores. Then they all sat around the fire and ate toffee apples. And the s'mores. And the s'mores. And the s'mores. It was very cozy.
Yeah, that ended funny. Thank you for reading that to me.
And now I'm going to read.
I don't think you can have time to read another one because that took a long time. Maybe you can just show the other book that you read today and then show me the pictures you drew today or learned how to draw.
Wild, Wild Wolves.
Let me see the cover. So you read this book today?
Wild Wolves. And,
What was it about?
I'll just read a couple pages.
Well, what did you learn about in that book?
A lot about wolves.
Wolves, yeah.
I'll just read.
Well, what was your favorite thing to learn about them?
I forget the story, sorta.
Oh, okay.
On a summer night, in the
You
far
don't have,
north,
Elena, you don't need to have time
the
to read.
wolf
Elena,
is howling.
you don't have time to read that.
But the only thing I know is that they howl, to talk to each other. And there's sort of signs. If only the tip of its tail twitches, it means it is going to attack. If its whole tail is twitching, it means it's happy. If its ears are laid back, then watch out.
So you learned a lot about wild wolves. What do they eat?
A lot of meat. There's some things on this back. Did you know that when a wolf wags the tip of its tail, it is getting really ready to attack. Or that a wolf's paws are as big as a grown-up's hand. Or that a wolf can eat the same as 100 hamburgers in a single meal. Find out all about wolves in this exciting, easy to read book.
Yeah, so that's basically, you learned a bunch of facts about them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what else did you learn to do today? You learned to draw a mouse, right? Because
Yeah.
after you read that mouse book, the school mouse,
Yeah.
then you got online and you watched some YouTube videos, right? Show me what you drew.
I learned a lot of them, so I'm going to show you all of this one.
Okay, so you drew a nice mouse.
And then this mouse. It's a really cute small one.
Wait, I can't see. Oh yeah, he's a cute one.
And then this one is called Flora.
That one you learned, so you learned to draw a bunch of different types of mice,
Yeah.
huh?
And then this picture.
Ooh, that's like a more scary mouse.
Yeah. And then this Weasley mouse.
A Weasley looking mouse?
Yeah.
Nice.
Or it could be a Weasley.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say before I put your sister on?
No, but
What was the weather like outside today?
really, really windy.
Yeah.
Today is Monday, January 6th, and I read this book today. It's called Betsy's Up and Down Year by Annie Pulowski.
It's not Annie, it's just Anne, probably, because it's
Anne?
Annie would be Annie.
And it's basically a book about, like, with a bunch of different stories about Betsy. And one of the stories is about her getting this glass lady bottle, which she used to hold maple syrup, but she pestered her mom until she bought one, and she got one. And she wants to make an ice sculpture. And she tries, but it just melts because she was using warm water. So she goes upstairs to one of her sisters who is sciencey and asks her. And she says, fill it with snow and then pour in blue cold water, and then up to the skirt, and then pouring however other colors you want for the shirt and the head. And so she did. But one day the bottle got too cold because she had left it outside, and it exploded all over. And so she only had an ice sculpture. And in the end, it melted, and she was really sad. And another story is about her having a gap in her teeth and having to get a retainer. And a bunch of bad things keep happening to her retainer, like a dog getting it and chewing on it, and her aunt accidentally throwing it into the trash. So she had an up and down year, a bad and good year. And I also learned about wolves. And they drew a couple pictures of them. This is a wolf running to catch a rabbit. This is the wolf that caught the rabbit. And this is a wolf howling at the moon. I learned that wolves don't really howl at the moon, but they tend to howl when it's lighter out. So when the full moon is out, it shines more light down, so they howl. A wolf is a mammal, and it is a carnivore, which means it eats meat. Their average lifespan in the wild is 6 to 8 years, but some have lived to be 10 years. Their weight on average is 40 to 175 pounds. and their group name is a pack. Their protection status is endangered because many people hunted them because they feared them, because they ate their livestock, and sometimes they will kill people, but mostly this is caused by rabies. But some have attacked people non-rabid because they are really hungry or they are really annoyed with the person. A gray wolf is similar to, in the general proportions, to a German shepherd or a sled dog, but has a longer head, narrow chest, longer legs, and straighter tail. This is a weird thing about them. The front paws have 5 toes, like 5 fingers, but the back paws have only 4. A wolf can quickly achieve speeds of 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. The gray wolf has a running gait of 55 to 70 kilometers per hour, and it can leap 6 meters horizontally in a single bound, which is quite far, and can maintain pursuit of an animal for at least 20 minutes. Ugh. When howling together, wolves harmonize rather than chorus on the same note. This is creating the illusion of there being more wolves than they actually are. The reason they do this is because other packs compete to gain their land. A wolf marks its territory by making weekly circles, which leaves its scent. And wolves find these territories, and some have good ones and some have bad ones. And they have parts with water and parts where animals come running through. So they make weekly trips to the places where the animal runs through to kill the animals that they need. Their color is usually gray, black, white, brown, but they can have a mixture. And their main diet is elk, deer, moose, and caribou, but they are also known to eat beaver, rabbits, and other small prey. Wolves are scavengers and they often eat animals that have died due to causes like starvation and disease. The packs have 4 to 7 animals on average, and the packs include the mother and father wolves, called alphas, and they are usually the only people in their pack allowed to have pups. And then the packs also include several pups or other young animals. Or other young wolves.
Other animals. Were you raised by a pack of wolves?
No. There are some stories in Greek stories that have people raised by wolves, though. So, their mating season is in January or February, and the litter size is about 4 to 7 pups. The pups are born blind and defenseless, so the pack cares for the pups until about 10 months of age, and usually it's the male alpha who goes out and hunts for food, but some of the other males in the pack might go too. And usually one of the daughters of the female alpha sticks around, and she's usually called the babysitter. The weird thing about pups is they can't eat solid meat until about 10 months old. So the adults will swallow meat, bring it back to the pups, and then regurgitate it into their mouths. Kind of gross. That's all I have right now.
Did you have any more pictures that you drew?
There's a picture right there.
Did you have some more in that
Yes,
notebook?
I do. Let me get them. There's 2.
That one's nice. I like that. I like that one with the.
And then-
Slow down, I can't.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a nice. I like him.
And then the last one.
Very good. Did you learn anything else today?
Um,
Or anything else you want to say? You were just back helping Dad with plumbing, right?
Plumbing.
So you're going to go back and help him with some more plumbing?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your presentation today, Autumn.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.